My passion falls for my pride alone, so I can find the cure. Alright everyone, chill. Chill! What's happening, my fellow geeks and geekettes? Welcome to a brand new episode of Chris's Custom Collectibles, and today we are going to be pimping out the Batman Missions Mr. Freeze figure. Now, if you guys remember, I did pimp out another Batman Missions figure. That was the smaller size Batman figure. We made the wall mount to make it look like he is gliding off a building. The response was amazing for that, so thank you so much, you guys. You guys are awesome, but today we're going to be doing a bad guy. We're going to be doing something from the Rogues Gallery, and I have actually been eyeing this fella off for quite some time. Bought him at Target. He was about 15 Australian dollars, if memory serves me correct. So I'll give you guys a close-up of the detail on the armor. It's very detailed, lots of hard edges, lots of lines, lots of mesh around the sides of the torso there, and this is actually removable. There we go. So in terms of detailing the head, I'm actually just going to be doing a blue wash over the head and wiping away the excess, because you got to keep in mind it is going to be covered by a dome, so the detail will be lost, but at least we can have some highlights on the bone structure, the lips, just all the facial features that have sort of crevices and detail. That wash will then pick up those features more through the helmet. Still add a lot more silver. There's going to be a lot of dry brushing and a lot of detailing, especially on the hard edges and the lines throughout the suit. So I don't exactly have a full plan in place for detailing this suit. I'm just going to do it as it goes. In terms of the base, I really want to do something dynamic and drastic and just have this ice base kind of theme going on. I'm also dabbling with the idea of having an interchangeable piece on the end of the gun here, so it looks like the gun is actually shooting ice. Now, before any of that, the first step is we have to make sure that this guy is clean and free of dust, because he has been sitting around for quite some time whilst I was still umming and ahhing exactly what I wanted to do with him. So for that, we're going to spray the whole piece with some isopropyl alcohol, taking away the helmet, because this type of plastic can be affected by isopropyl alcohol and actually make it fog up permanently, and we do not want that. So like I said, first step is we're going to brush some isopropyl alcohol over here, get rid of the dust, get rid of germs and just grease from my fingers and everything, and then we're going to use a clear primer, because I still want the base color throughout the whole figure as a starting point, as a blank canvas. Time to head up to the workshop. So with that being said, let's get to it. Now, before I move on to anything else, I'm going to hit Victor's left hand here with a paint stripper gun, and what that is going to do is make the plastic malleable, and I'm going to close his hand up like a clenched fist. Now, before I do any detail work on the suit, I'm going to start with the head, and I've got a Blue Mist student acrylic here. So I'm going to be using an array of brushes here, and it's essentially just painting it over the head and wiping away the excess. And this is just a bit more of a blue than this. This is more of kind of an ice white. So the detail that's going to be left in the crevices will be highlighted because this is a more bluey shade. So I just want to accentuate like the cheekbones, the lips, the nose, wrinkles in the forehead, the ears. Probably do have to do some cleanup with the goggles once it's all done, because there probably will be a bit of paint on the goggles, which is just a bit of isopropyl alcohol. But yeah, just a bit of detail goes a long way. Even though he is going to be encased within the helmet, you still want to have those details of the head sculpt just pop. The next step after that is we're going to start to do the detail work on the suit. Now, firstly, we are going to use a chrome silver from Model Masters. I'm going to go over the entire suit with a dry brushing method. Like I said, I don't really have a sound method in place for how the suit's going to look and how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to start off with dry brushing. I'm then also going to be going in with the same silver with a finer brush and doing all the bolts and all the hard edges here and there. And we'll probably also do a wash with the Create Effects Testers black acrylic wash. Again, it's just until I find that happy medium where I think the suit looks a lot better and a lot more detailed, as well as going into the belt here and doing some blacks, some silvers, and even some golds. And there you go, geeks. That little bit of subtlety just goes a long way and just highlights the face. So like I said, I did expect to get some paint on the goggles, so that's just a matter of going in with some isopropyl alcohol, even though I probably will do a little bit of dry brushing with a silver. The silver will still kind of highlight it a bit more than this kind of dull look, and it is a bit messy at the moment. So just a bit of touch up with isopropyl alcohol. So like I mentioned before, the next step is to start dry brushing the suit and also going in with more of the silver, golds, blacks, everything, and just doing random details on the suit. And when we find that happy medium, we can call it a day on the suit. So we'll also probably going in with the black wash from the Testors Creators effects range just to really get in the nitty gritty parts of the suit. But for the most part, pretty happy with that head. After a bit of cleanup, we're good to go. Okay, we are now ready for the ancient art of dry brushing. So, got my Model Masters paint, and dry brushing is essentially just getting as minimal paint on your brush as possible, dabbing away the excess and very lightly going over the subject. So in this case, the armor. I think that's pretty good. Oh, actually, I really like that. Like those scuffs like there. Just gives the illusion that, you know, the metal has been tarnished somewhat. Just going over the finer details too, like these bolts, and it just picks up the beautiful details straight away. So again, it's very touch and go with Mr. Freeze. It's just a matter of finding that happy balance, but so far I'm actually very impressed with how it's picking up all the details. Like, I want his armor to be very, very worn in. You know, this thing isn't just keeping him alive, it's protecting him, it's battle armor. So you see there, it's already starting to pick up just how nice and hard edge this armor really is. I might actually go in, like I said, with the full silver on all the meshed areas, because that's really going to look great when I do the black wash. So for now, I'm just going to do a montage of just everything that I'm doing to this suit, whether it be using, you know, golds, this silver, a matte black, and of course the black wash. So at the end of it, you're going to see the fully completed suit. So I've gone ahead and started the process of coloring all the mesh parts of the suit with the chrome silver. You can see already it just breaks everything up and it just looks a little less dull than this one here. Okay, so I finished the stage of painting all the mesh areas with the chrome silver, and I'm happy I made the call because much like the legs here, it just breaks up the rest of the suit and gives it that nice pop to it. So now as you can see on the abs section here, it's looking a little bit weathered, a little bit soiled, and just a little bit distressed, which is exactly what I'm going for. And the way I achieved that was with the black acrylic wash. So I'm just going to go over the rest of the silver areas, and then I'm going to start to do some dry brushing with the gold and some detailing with the gold, also from Model Masters. So the gun has also been detailed, and that was just using the same silver as well as dry brushing the gun itself. So overall, I'm very happy with how this is looking, geeks and geekettes, especially with the detail on the head with all the highlighting of the facial features. So it's really starting to come together. Alright, geeks and geekettes, I've finally reached that happy medium with the suit and how I want it to look. Now originally I was going to go for sort of like a cleaner look, but this is a cosplay Chris iteration of Mr. Freeze and his suit. We're going to go for a lot of weathering. Almost like there's a lot of rust going on here, and I'm just kind of keeping it here so I can reveal the figure in all its glory when the base is done. But I've subtly gone in with the helmet with a razor blade and just put some cracks and scratches here and there on the helmet, because the helmet was just a little bit too pristine. Even though the blue itself is a nice stark contrast to the rest of the suit, I'm very happy with how this looks. It's just very different and something we really haven't seen with Mr. Freeze before. So now that that's all said and done, it's time to move on to the base. All right guys, it's now time to move on to the base. So this is actually a shadow box frame that I picked up from Bunnings, as well as a furniture piece leg also picked up from Bunnings. So I guess you could say this is kind of going to emulate a tank or something that would be in Mr. Freeze's lab. So the idea is to have icicles hanging from this, and we're going to have the back of Freeze's leg mounted in here, and then his dominant leg up on the side ledge here. So I've gone ahead and actually glued some rivets, just some spare brass rivets I had lying around, into the wood itself. Just drilled them in, put some cheap super glue in, and it holds pretty well. It's an instant bond straight away. So the next step is I'm going to mask off, and I want to keep this clear because this is going to help with the illusion of kind of like an ice feature. So I'm going to mask off and cover this up both sides, and then I'm going to cover both pieces with the flat grey primer from Rust-Oleum. So that's going to be a base color because I kind of want an old, kind of weathered, kind of old school tank going on here. So it's going to be also a mixture of dirtying and soiling the whole two pieces with the acrylic wash from Create Effects like we used on Freeze, as well as some dry brushing like we did with Freeze with the chrome silver from Model Masters. On top of the actual stand itself here, I've got some styrene textured sheets I got from a hobby shop. I don't know how well you guys can see that. It's kind of got that metallic plating look going on. I just figured it'd break everything up on top here. Now to fix these two pieces together, I'm just going to be using magnets. This is a little magnet kit you get from the craft section in Bunnings. So it's going to be 4 circular magnets there, 4 circular magnets there, and it's just going to clip on like so. Once all these steps are complete, we're then going to be using some clear casting resin for the ice effect. Alright geeks and geekettes, now that the glue from the magnet system has now dried and the rest of the paint job has dried, I'm very happy with how it's turned out. Just gives that nice rustic industrial kind of lab look that I'm going for. So the next step is we have to emulate some ice. Ice everywhere, icicles dripping off the edges here, and for that we're going to be using a clear casting and embedding resin from Bunnings. We also have the hardener. So the first coat, I'm just going to, dab in random places here and there, make sure it's dripping and overhanging in places. So it goes without saying, the more hardener you add to your batch, the lesser working time you have. So if you give this a good squeeze in there, you're looking at about 10 minutes of pot life. So with that being said, let's get to it.
So forgive me if my voice is a little muffled. I've got a respirator on for obvious reasons. If you look there, it looks like ice, and that's what I'm going to be doing. This is the next step. So I want to chunk up as much ice looking fiberglass resin as possible, and it's when the resin starts to cure and you start to mix it up in the cup and it creates these chunky little blocks like ice. So I kind of want to try and do a whole sort of pool of ice as well as crushed ice around the sides here. And keep in mind that we still have to go in, and I haven't gotten to this stage yet, we still have to go in with the special snow spray once everything's cured and dried. So I kind of want to be able to embed a footprint type thing so I can rest Freeze's back leg in there as well as on the front. So far looking very good, geeks and geekettes. So it's just a matter of kind of mixing up little batches, letting them set, crumpling it up as it's starting to cure to give this ice effect. Again, much like Mr. Freeze's suit, it's just going to be until I meet that happy medium, until everything just looks like a nice kind of frosted over effect. And I've also gone ahead on the lower base here and added some frosting. So once this is all fully cured, happy with how it looks, we're then going to go ahead and spray in certain parts a textured snow spray from Creative Effects from Testers. Now, whilst I'm here, I'm actually going to position Mr. Freeze's feet in place. We've got this one here and this one here. I'm actually going to permanently fix them in place with some more casting resin, and then also once it starts to get chunky like so, just chunk up around his boots to look like it's kind of crunching into the ice. Okay, now that the resin on the display has fully dried, I've let it cure overnight and a little bit more because it is a 24-hour curing resin. It is now time to move on to the blast stream coming out of Victor's gun. So this is some spare resin I had lying around, and I just added the slightest bit of blue tint. It was just a turquoise actually that I usually use on my other resins. So I let it dry, just very sporadically put it all over this silicon slab. This is actually my block mold for my Batfleck belt. So I just use the back because obviously nothing wants to stick to silicon but silicon. So the basis for the blast stream is this piece of acrylic doweling. This is like used for blinds, curtains and all that. You know, you turn them and the blinds shift direction. So this is gonna be the body of the stream, and I've gone ahead and drilled into the barrel of the freeze gun so it just slots in like so. So this can be removable. Next step, I'm just gonna peel away very carefully the pieces of resin, and that's what I love about this. It's just all sporadic and looks like a freeze blast coming out of his gun. So I'm just gonna hit it with a paint stripper gun so it becomes a lot more malleable, because it has cured, but it still does want to sink a bit, but especially for this piece here that's a bit thicker than the rest. I'm then gonna start to wrap it around this piece like so until I reach that happy kind of medium and that it looks natural, and then mount it into the gun. And like I said, this will be removable if need be. And then the final step is we're going to spray some textured snow spray on the display itself. Now this stuff takes about 3 hours to dry. It's quite interesting. This stuff will stay wet for about 2 hours 45 minutes, and then 5 minutes later, 15 minutes later, it is rock hard and dries. So once I spray this on, I probably will go in with a brush and then kind of tidy up certain areas just to make it look nice and natural. Let it dry, let it sit out in the sun, and then we can reveal the custom collectible in all its glory and call it a day.
So thanks very much for watching, guys. Very happy with how Mr. Freeze has turned out. As you guys know or have seen, I hit 300,000 subscribers. So firstly, a massive thank you to each and every one of you that has supported me from day one and there on out. So in honor of that, I'm actually going to be doing a giveaway. So next week, I'm going to be combining, the celebratory 300,000 subscribers video with a fan mail, unboxing, and also a giveaway of this guy. So I will give the details in that video of how to enter and how you can win this custom collectible. Guys, wherever you are in the world, have yourselves a cracker of a day. I hope you're well, hope you're happy, be merry, be silly, and until next time, geeks, please always remember, cosplayers do it best. My passion falls for my pride alone, so I can find a cure. Alright everyone, chill. Chill.